So my name is Daryle Stafford. I'm the president and CEO of Veracity Insurance Solutions. We run and operate a MGA office as well as an open brokerage market.
Okay. So today we're talking specifically about how small business insurance is evolving and innovation in that space. What are some of your key priorities over the next 1 to 2 years when it comes to improving the way you can support small business owners that are using or leveraging your partners to access insurance?
One of the biggest, let's say, is challenges as well as opportunities and where the market's really trying to evolve and go to, and it everything right now is focused on simplicity and trying to be able to create automated insurance products on the commercial business side. So we know that with personal lines, you know, buying insurance online is something that's been happening for years, and it's common for personal insurance to be managed through online platforms, where commercial insurance has really kind of evolved. Really, probably like the last 5 to 7 years, as to becoming more mainstream to be able to deliver those products online. So there's the the complexities come into the distribution of the product, and to be able to offer multiple products to a customer, and being able to create that user experience to where it's a simple process, and that's kind of the really what we're challenged with right now, and as we work with our partners and trying to figure out like how we simplify the process, how do we encompass as many potential customers as possible, and then how do you manage uh, you know the the risk side of it, and making sure that you're getting the right customers and that you're selling the right products, and that it's you don't have that personal touch where you're underwriting each individual account. So you're having to kind of rely on technology as well as the insurance policy to help underwrite the risk for you. And so we've it's an ongoing process. And although we can check the boxes of like, yes, we're doing these things and we're innovative in these areas, like it's just scratching the surface. There's so much more that can be done. The process in which every step in the process needs to continue to evolve within it, and so that's really kind of the task that we're focused on right now is really all these areas, and refining and building upon it, building upon that, so that we can continue to create the perfect and ideal user experience for the actual insured itself.
And what does that look like? I guess if we break it down into specifics, so you have the broker on one end, they need good tools to research insurance policies and send quotes or proposals to customers. Then you have intermediaries like, I don't know, premium finance companies, the carrier's inability or ability to receive or send digital communication and automating things. Like, what part of the value chain are you tackling, or do you think is the most critical to address, or has potentially the biggest opportunity to change the way things work today? Do you have any specifics around that?
Sure. Like in the MGA space, the managing general agent, we're really tasked with, like, we're functioning kind of as, let's say, we're given that authority from the insurance company to be able to act and represent on their behalf. And so we're really playing that role. We're given a box. We work with the insurance company on, we're let's say, we're putting together a program for a specific industry, and we're tasked with our team of going in and doing that market research, working with our partners as well, with agents, understanding the true, the market and the needs of what the customers are wanting and needing for their policy, as well as how do we craft something that we can, if it's an automated solution, how do we create this to where it can be all done and managed online? So we're really tasked with that project, and as well as helping our partners even bundle the policies as well, so that uh, the the key here with the small business segment is, and this is really where like our mission is as an organization, is figuring out how do we scale and help our partners scale with the insured. And as a as a small business, oftentimes you're in the startup company comes in, and what they need as a startup is oftentimes is just very basic. They just need like the minimal insurance requirements, whether from a contract or just having their like coverages in place to protect the organization. They don't have the same exposures as a large company. They don't have the same resources as far as the revenues to be able to pay for the laundry list of coverages that if you were to go through the traditional process of a mid to large size company of all these different policies that you should be carrying. And so this is this initial step into a lot of our clients that we work with. This is their first time purchasing insurance, and so very small operations. The 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 challenge and where our focus really lies is helping our customers grow and being able to grow with them, because the needs change. And so this is where it's like, okay, I came in, I just needed a general liability policy to get up and going. Well, now I need property coverage, or I hired an employee, and so now I need work comp. um, yeah, they could have added vehicles to their policy now, so now you have an auto element to it. And so sometimes it's you can automate some of these, but what we're seeing, and really what we're focused on it right now is figuring out this gap of sometimes, really oftentimes when they take that next step, as a company, their needs change, and so therefore we need to become a little bit more consultative. And how do you do that with an automated products, as well as like new products that maybe not that we may not be able to completely automate, and managing that customer now becomes a challenge when you're talking about you know uh, at small scale. It's not a problem, but when you start operating with hundreds of thousands of customers, insurers that you're writing policies for every year, the scaling that is one of the biggest challenges that we are seeing in the market is helping these businesses to scale with them. And so that's where a lot of our focus has been, and the mission as we have as an organization is we want to grow and scale with our customers, our agents, and helping. Like, our goal is we have to help our agents with the insureds create a scalable model to where from a startup to a large company, that you can keep that person, that insured, and that client, you can continue to grow with them. But the distribution starts to change, the level of service starts to change, and you need to create a model that helps that grow and scale.
So one thing that came up in my research ahead of this is that premiums is a huge concern for small business insurance customers, that they've gone up obviously over the years.
Yeah.
How do you think about cash flow, helping small businesses with their cash flow, affordability, which in turn, I guess, will make your agents more successful and your carriers more successful? Where does premium financing or payment option and flexibility feature on your roadmap of priorities, I suppose?
No, it's a great question. I actually had a meeting earlier this morning with some of our product team members, as we're working with a partner, a premium finance company. We currently have the ability, some so taking a step back, the payments on premiums vary. Some insurance companies are, and a lot of insurance companies on the admitted side, uh, the monthly payments, you kind of you pay as you go, able to break those payments out over a 12-month period, which is, it's not super uncommon in the insurance world, in the commercial space, but certain products it is uncommon. And when you get into the E&S world, and this is what we're seeing in the small business space as well, is because the market and needs are evolving so quickly, the admitted products that those traditional admitted products are not necessarily available with when you take a newer product or a new product model that you're trying to market and sell to insureds, because those rates haven't been filed with the insurance company. So if they're not filed, then it has to go on E&S paper. And E&S paper goes back to, like, now you start getting into premium financing. That starts to become a little bit of a challenge. We've seen and experiencing now that customer journey for financing premiums is not a very smooth process. It's actually can sometimes become cost prohibitive for the agency themselves to kind of manage at volume, to be able to manage all of the premium finance agreements, your notices, if they late payments, cancellations, reinstatements, all those things have not been there. It's lagging a little bit on the technology front. We're working with a partner right now that feels like they've come up with a way to streamline it and make it a little bit faster process. Um, you know, they can manage that stuff, that the customer interaction as far as payments go, they can manage that on their side, but we still are involved in that process to some level. And so being able to simplify this process, make it a 2-3 click process instead of a 10, and then print stuff out and mail it back. Like those days are gone. Like it's a race to figure out, how do we make this so much more efficient and effective for the insured. And we're seeing progress on that, and that's what this, the meeting that I had this morning it was exciting to kind of hear that steps. It seems like some big steps have been made to help streamline that process for the insured.
But help me understand where premium finance companies engage or partner. Like, is it with the individual agent? Hey, Mr. Agent, do you want to offer premium finance work with us? Or is it the software that the agent works with that can add and offer and integrate premium finance? Or is it you as an MGA? Or is it the carriers themselves? Like, can all of them, or should all of
Yeah.
them be offering premium finance? Or where does the concentration of ownership sit, I guess?
Typically, in most situations, it's with the actual agent. The agent, working directly with the insured. And so, because of how we build our products, and with Veracity, we have a full-fledged product dev team. We have a marketing team that supports and works with our agents as well to help market and push products for them. So because of the role that we play and with the online solutions, we take a more active role, because we're integrating that software as far as the finance company into our platform, so that it's just one customer journey experience on that front. So we're a little unique in that typically most of the time as agents, for us as an MGA, we're kind of managing that relationship. The carriers, they don't. What you'll see with insurance companies is they'll just allow for monthly payments, and that's one thing that we've done as well with working. We've even worked with E&S markets. We have some E&S markets that are allowing us just to do monthly payments, which is unheard of. Like, that's all your E&S markets out there. They want a 25% down payment, that old school traditional insurance policy. And so we're saying, like, that doesn't work for this segment right here. And typically your E&S policies, and historically, have been for more complex risk, therefore higher premiums, and it can be a clunky process, no big deal. Because the market's evolved so quickly, you're seeing products that have very small premiums. I mean, we could have a policy that's a $75 premium, and you can't afford to sit there and go through this paper process and printing stuff off and mailing it to an insured for a $75 premium. It's just cost prohibitive. So that's where you're like, coming in and working with the E&S markets, working with a finance company, typically you're not going to finance a $75 premium, but to at least create monthly payment options for a customer, and that's one unique thing that we're doing right now in the E&S space, which most people aren't.
So you mentioned you're a little bit unique in that you work also with premium finance companies and you extend access to those through your platform or your relationships to those agents. How do you select which premium finance partner to work with? There's obviously a few in the market. What are the key things that you're looking for? You mentioned this one that you're speaking to right now. They seem to have some good IT or tech.
Right.
What are other examples of the selection process? Is it pay to play, or is it sort of who can subsidize your integration costs, or are there other aspects, kickbacks, commissions?
For us, it's not about and I can't speak for all because our model's different. Our model is not about uh, the premium finance company. For us is a means to be able to deliver an insurance product. So like we look at that as like service that we want to be able to tap into and figure out how do we make as efficient as effective as possible. Um, so we're not coming in and trying to get kickbacks or negotiate, like pricing models that are favorable for us. Like it's really focused on the ease and of use with that. We are mindful with the interest rates. Sometimes yes, interest rates with premium finance companies, they're high. Like it's there, and there's multiple reasons behind it. It's like there's no credit checks. It's not something where it's like you're going through and we're underwriting the client. It's basically they're extending that credit to the client. Now, typically the risk is a bit less because of the down payments, and the premium finance company is able to kind of stay ahead of if the insured misses a payment, whatever it is, they can cancel the policy and get their returns and not be out any money on that. But uh, the downside of premium financing is the interest rates are typically pretty high. The upside to it is there's no underwriting that goes into it. It's not like a commercial, like a traditional loan or something like that. It's you sign the agreement, make a down payment, and then make your monthly payments.
And where do you think there are gaps in the markets? Where you kind of alluded to it in terms of specific products, specific industries, or higher risk, etc. But if you were to summarize the gaps in the market as you see it, when it comes to premium finance companies not doing everything that, if you had a magic wand that you'd like to see or your agents like to see, is there anything that comes to mind in that respect?
The magic wand would really be simplifying the process. It just seems to be still kind of stuck, you know, 10 to 15 years back behind the curve when it comes to technology and how that's being utilized, uh, and realizing there are some challenges. I mean, it's essentially it's a bank that's lending money, so there are some processes that make it a little bit more challenging. I would say, going on that note right there, one of the biggest inhibitors really, um, that's facing it from the insurance side to the premium financing side is the regulatory components. And there's these regulatory things that have been put into place in the past for good reason, and it's not that regulation's bad. The challenge is it's not keeping pace with technology, and so you're just running into, it's like you create a lot of like really cool systems and processes and really nail that customer journey, and then once you start adding these elements to it, you're like, oh man, this really sucks. Like everything was really good, and you get this last, like the premium financing. That was really a thorn in our side because it was like, man, we spent a ton of time and money and really creating this optimal customer journey experience. And then if they finance it, it's like, man, this is really clunky and just not great. It impacts conversion rate. increases calls because there's more some confusion to it because there's just so much information to that. So the regulatory front is just one of those areas that's kind of making it difficult, and we're all trying to like navigate around it and stay in compliant. Uh, and so it's just hopefully as things continue to evolve that um, the regulatory boards start to kind of figure out how they can possibly simplify or allow rather than wet signatures, e-signatures are not having to send out snail mail and allowing for electronic mail. So those are things that are just like makes you so frustrated.
Makes sense. Daryle, thank you very much for your thoughts and insights. Really appreciate that.
You bet.